It began with a glance, a flicker of recognition across a crowded room. Frank was in my English literature class. Well, not my class, technically. He was in the other section, the one that met on Tuesdays and Thursdays. But I'd see him in the hallways in the library, his head bent over a book, a lock of dark hair falling across his forehead. There was something about him. An intensity, a quiet focus that drew me in. It was a look I hadn't seen directed at me in years, not since. Well, not since before life became a blur of carpools, grocery lists, and the relentless ticking of the clock. He had this way of looking at me when I passed, a lingering gaze that made me feel seen. Not as Mrs. Anderson, the English teacher, or as Tom's wife, but as Nora, the woman I used to be, the woman I sometimes felt I'd lost somewhere along the way. One afternoon, I found him in the library, tucked away in a quiet corner. I'd been looking for a specific volume of poetry, something for my students, and there he was, immersed in his own world. We struck up a conversation, a casual chat about literature, about life, about dreams. He was so present. He listened, really listened, in a way that no one had in a long time. He saw me, the person I felt I'd buried beneath layers of responsibility and routine. And then he kissed me. It was a fleeting moment, a brush of lips, a whisper of a touch. But it was like striking a match in a darkened room. It ignited a fire I thought had long been extinguished, a dormant ember that flared back to life with unexpected ferocity. My husband, bless his heart, he's a good man. But he started to notice a shift in me. The late nights at school, grading papers, I told him. He'd look at me with this puzzled expression, a flicker of suspicion in his eyes. But I was always ready with an excuse, a plausible explanation. I became a master of deception, weaving a web of lies to protect. What? A fleeting moment of passion? A desperate yearning for something more? There was this one time. Frank and we were in the staff bathroom. It was reckless, I know, but the pull was too strong to resist. Cuddling, whispering, lost in each other. The bell rang, signaling the start of class, but we were so caught up. And then a knock. A student, needing something. We froze, hearts pounding in our chests. Time seemed to stretch out, each second an eternity. I don't know how we did it, but we managed to slip out undetected, the adrenaline still coursing through our veins. It was a close call, a terrifying reminder of the precariousness of our situation. Seeing Frank with other female students, it was like a physical blow. The jealousy, the possessiveness I felt was terrifying, consuming. I knew I was losing control, spiraling down a path I couldn't seem to stop. I started imagining things, scenarios playing out in my head, each one more painful than the last. Then the unthinkable happened. I invited Frank over. My husband was supposed to be away on a business trip, a rare opportunity for what? I don't even know anymore. But he came home early. I heard his key in the door, the familiar click that usually brought a sense of comfort, now filled me with dread. Panic seized me, a cold wave washing over me. "Nora, is that you?" he called, his voice echoing through the house. "Yes, dear," I replied, my voice trembling, trying to sound casual, nonchalant. "I'm just dealing with the plumber. The sink broke this morning." He looked around, a hint of suspicion in his eyes, a flicker of something I couldn't quite decipher. But he didn't push it. He had no idea. He trusted me. And that's what made it so much worse. Later that night, after the kids were in bed, he sat me down. He looked at me, his eyes searching mine. "Is there anything you want to tell me, Nora?" he asked, his voice gentle but firm. "Anything you need to get off your chest?" The words hung in the air, heavy with unspoken questions. "No, dear," I said, my voice barely a whisper. "I'm fine." But I wasn't fine. I was falling apart, crumbling under the weight of my lies, the guilt eating away at me. I managed to keep the affair hidden. Frank and we never got caught. But the guilt was too much to bear. It was a constant ache in my chest, a shadow that followed me everywhere. I couldn't live with the lies, the constant fear of discovery, the betrayal of the man who loved me. So I left. Not a divorce, just left. I needed to escape, to try and find some semblance of peace, to try and forgive myself. Whether I ever will, I don't know. What do you think? Was Nora justified? Was she wrong? There are no easy answers, are there? What lessons can be learned from her story? What would you have done? What do you think? Your thoughts or comments are welcome. Please subscribe, like the video and share. Thank you.